Acá está el CEO de Twitter. Se ponía lo más acá. Bueno, primero que nada, están todos despedidos.
Sean todos bienvenidos a un video de DeiGamer donde risas y sonrisas estarán siempre presentes. Consciente que el video está por comenzar y así tu tristeza en sonrisa se convertirá.
Mandémosle frutilla entonces de Stanley para Ultra Deluxe. A ver qué onda.
Of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job.
Stanley es feliz.
And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single
¡Oh, Dios mío!
on the monitor for him to follow
Necesito hacer cosas.
had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
Oh, Dios mío. A ver, hay que agarrar la pala. No, soy el señor 427. Estoy en mi cubículo y ya no me están dando órdenes. ¿Dónde está la cámara que me estaba filmando hace un rato? No, la cámara es una mentira. ¿Qué hora es? ¿Será la misma hora que acá? No. Vieron que al principio me pidió la hora. Fue un baiteo. Che, pará. ¿Va a 1000 por hora el mouse? Ahí está. Oh, está mucho
All
mejor.
his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Se fueron de parranda y no me invitaron.
No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Pero yo no tenía amigos. Dice, acá hay órdenes. Me voy a cambiar a esta. Voy a hacer el 435 a partir de ahora. Papá número 1. A ver. Yo me acuerdo. Espera, con espacio ya no se salta. Se saltaba con espacio, la puta madre. Logro bloqueado, no puedes saltar. Logro bloqueado, consigue tu primer logro. ¡Qué hijo de puta! Claro, yo hay como un idiota tratando de saltar. Logro bloqueado, no puedes saltar. Gracias. Arigato. Lástima que no están puestos los logros, porque se graba solamente el juego. Pero bueno, yo les comento los logros. Me saltó un logro de que efectivamente no se puede saltar. Vamos a ver si desbloqueamos después la habilidad. Se canjeó puntos del canal El Matame en el juego ¿Cómo te morís? A ver, en este juego está complicado, pero en la mayoría de juegos te podés morir. Acá, no sé, tendría que haber algún modo de suicidarme si canjeas esos puntos. Sinopsis del juego, por favor. Lo que viste hasta ahora. Un chabón que estaba laburando y de repente la máquina dejó de darle órdenes y el chabón no entiende nada y hay una voz que le habla, como un narrador. Y estoy acá en mi trabajo y wow, ¿dónde están mis compañeros de trabajo? No entiendo nada. Por ahora es esto. Me gusta revisar todo porque, o sea, claramente no voy a encontrar nada para agarrar ni coleccionables, pero está bonito ver todo. No, tiraron el café. Odio los lunes. Recuerden que
Si te gusta el video, déjame manito arriba. La vas a tener enorme, si no la tendrás chiquita. Agradezco a todos los que siempre ponen like. Por ustedes continúo, no me pienso retirar.
desde ahí recién prendo. Arrancamos con Stanley Parable. Estaba ahí en mi cubículo, me daban órdenes y ya no me dan órdenes. Y no entiende nada el chabón.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Bueno, ya sabemos que en el Stanley Parable original podés joderlo ahí por la derecha, pero la primera vez vamos a darle bola a la voz, porque no me acuerdo de qué carajo pasaba, ya que este es el Ultra Deluxe del Stanley Parable. Vamos a ver qué onda. Primero le demos bola y después lo troleamos. Hola, putas. Oh, mira las salas.
There was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Acá está el CEO de Twitter. Se ponía lo más acá. Bueno, primero que nada, están todos despedidos. Segundo, quiero que empecemos a cobrar por los verificados. Pero, Elon, nos despediste a todos. Bueno, contraten a alguien más. Pero nos despediste. ¡Contraten a alguien más! No entendía nada, Elon Musk. ¿Qué carajo? Synergy, Set Core Value, Independiente, Monetizar. Free to play. Monetizar los free to play. Ok. Money, más money, cosas, pero. Money, queremos dinero. Ok. Todo bien, todo piola. Subió hacia la oficina que ya sabemos que podemos bajar, pero vamos a darle vuelta a la voz. A ver, negro. ¿Qué onda con esto? ¡Ah! Baño ejecutivo. Yo quiero ir acá, denme la llave. Ser rico es un crimen. Cometer crimen no es ser rico. Estaba Elon Musk acá cuestionándose la vida. Mi jefe es Elon Musk, chabón. Okay,
stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this, what dark secret was being held from him. What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned him a secret PIN number, 2845.
Okay.
But of course, Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Claro, no puedo saberlo. Me lo dijo una voz misteriosa, pero Stanley no lo sabe, el número de la web esta. Así que no le puedo poner, por Dios.
Stanley just sat around twiddling his thumbs.
Sí, me siento.
Trying to input anything on the device was useless,
obvio,
since he could never possibly know that the combination was 2845.
Tiene todo el sentido del mundo. Tiene todo el sentido del mundo. No puedo hacer nada. Se acaba aquel juego, gente.
845.
Quiero ver si me reta.
Forgot. But it turns out that the panel's emergency override kicked in, and the door just opened all by itself. And Stanley got the hell along with the story.
O sea que si no lo pongo, el narrador se enoja por no seguir su cuento de mierda y le abre el ok. Loading.
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Interesante, ¿me puedo ir por arriba? ¿Me cagará pedo? ¿Pero qué haces, pelotudo?
Nope. Never mind. Stanley actually got back into the elevator and went back up. Silly me. Why did Stanley do that when he knew that it would just lead back to his boss's office? Well, that's a great question. I just can't wait to find out.
¿Qué pasa si de repente me regreso todo el camino? ¿Me dirá algo más? ¿Hay algún diálogo nuevo?
Here we are, Stanley. It's your boss's office. Exactly the way it was before you got onto the elevator. It's still just exactly what it is. What a decision you've made to come up here and look at the office again. This has fleshed out the plot of the story in new and fascinating ways I could have never anticipated. It's that keen eye for storytelling that you have, an incisive rapid fire of critical plot points, one after the other, weaving a rich tapestry of uncompromising narrative. Wow.
¿Qué le pasa?
I'm to the edge of my seat.
¿Por qué se ponía tan nervioso? Me voy. Me re caga pedo por haber hecho lo contrario, ¿viste? Está bueno que en cualquier momento del juego, si haces lo que él no quiere, se enoja. No me dejan irme, no me dejan. Me voy.
Incredible. Now he's getting
Sí, ¿cuál hay?
How does he keep coming up with all of this? Did you think we were going to go forward down the corridor? No. It's time once again to go back up in the elevator.
Es divertido.
I can't even begin to grapple with what might be up there. Is it the boss's office again? Or what if it's the boss's office this time? The suspense is killing me.
Así se desarrolla una trama, ¿ves? El narrador está contento. Ahora volvemos. Me ponía música.
Absolutely changes everything for me.
Música de wow, mirá lo que encontraste.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm prepared to embrace this stunning revelation and to move forward with... No, wait. No, I need more time to process. All right. I have fully come to terms with it. I have made space in my worldview for this astonishing new reality. As before, I turn to your expert eye for gripping narrative, Master Stanley.
Gracias. Volvamos a bajar, después voy a volver a subir.
Going back down in the elevator.
Es una banda.
Sure, now it's obvious, but you have to understand that 30 seconds ago, this kind of thing had never been attempted before. I had no frame of reference to even anticipate it. That's just how revelatory Stanley's decision-making is. A breath of fresh air in a landscape of storytelling that has grown stale and repetitive.
Culos de lounge, ya voy a seguir jugándolo. Tranquilo, un juego a la vez. Tenemos toda la vida por delante. ¿Yo no dice nada?
You know what? I just thought of something. Hold on, let's stop for a moment. Don't you realize? It's the anticipation, Stanley. You and I, we have no way of knowing what will be at the top of this elevator. But the suspense, the agony of waiting and anticipating and having to guess, that's the real thrill. Oh, I simply don't want to let that feeling go. It's so precious, so fleeting. Why don't we take this elevator ride nice and slow?
No, quiero llegar.
Isn't this so much more exciting?
Esto le da tensión.
It seems like nowadays the only thing that audiences want is to be shocked as loudly and frequently as possible. They want big, explosive moments flung right in their faces from the very moment that things get started. But where's the tension? Where's the trust in the audience to build a slow and nuanced appreciation for the story, the characters? Why aren't we given time to imagine the surprises? To have to think and to anticipate and then to marvel at the eventual reveal. This is storytelling, Stanley. What you and I are doing right now. This is the most exciting narrative to be developed in years. And it's really all because of you. You're the one who took this bold step of revisiting the exact same locations over.
Lore, gente.
I mean it. This is unique and different. It's not like anything else out there. You see, I want stories that surprise me, Stanley. I want to have to think. I want to be engaged and not pandered to. We're being fed such unimaginative drivel all the time, and we
Bueno, ya.
which is why we're so starved for content that makes us feel sharp and vital and alive. That's why people like you so much, Stanley. Because you're not afraid to spit in the face of tradition. You're a role model, you know? People look up to you. Which is why, oh, I didn't know when to spring this on you, but, well, I've gathered a little press conference for you. So that you can talk about your work and your storytelling and your life. Yes, I know you're not much for the public eye, but I thought it would especially mean a lot to the people who have been following you from the beginning. They really look up to you, Stanley. I don't know if you realize the impact you have on them. This is the kind of gesture that might leave a tremendous impact on them for the better. Oh, good, we're here.
Man, ¿qué carajo?
Okay, the room where we're holding the press conference should be just around the corner here somewhere.
Una conferencia de prensa, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Cómo hicimos las pirámides? Por Dios, ¿qué? El chabón se pudrió tanto de que sube y baja el ascensor que agarró y dijo: ¿sabes que sos tan grosso por hacer esta mierda que te voy a dar una conferencia de prensa?
All right, are you ready? I've told them you're going to speak a little bit about the nature of surprise in storytelling and what it means to craft a truly unpredictable narrative. Oh, don't worry, you'll do great. Just be yourself and speak from the heart. I'm really proud of you, Stanley. Okay, it looks like they're ready for you.
Está con la vena así el narrador. Mirá, 4-7, soy yo. ¡Soy yo! Mirá, soy Stanley. Tiene mi conferencia de prensa. Oh, Dios mío, no, me da miedo. Me voy a caer, ¿no? ¡Ah! Soy famoso, de repente gusto mortazo. La reconcha de su madre, escuchen esto. No me atreví a salir, me daba miedo. ¿Qué?
All of his co-workers were gone.
Ese era un final.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Me volví una celebridad y termina. Era un final. Ser una celebridad por tener tanta imaginación en una trama que en vez de avanzar yo subí y bajé un ascensor.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door.
Ahora vamos a hacer todo bien, vamos a hacer todo bien. Vamos a ir todo por lo correcto, lo que me dice. El mejor final del videojuego, claramente. Sos una celebridad y ya está. A ver, por la puerta de derecha. La próxima hacemos esta. Ahora quiero hacer todo lo que me diga. A ver cómo es el final que él quiere. 2, 8, 4, 5. En la sala de novena pista. No, este juego es de ver qué pasa si haces tal cosa. De eso trata todo el juego. La idea del gozo es seguir adelante. Pero yo quise ver qué pasa si subo y bajo el ascensor como un idiota. Y me dio un final donde soy una celebridad. Ahora vamos a continuar.
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Ok. Es un juego de qué pasaría si, básicamente. Claro, un juego de qué pasaría si. Todo el juego es así. A ver.
The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place
La Matrix.
hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Ahora podría volver, por ejemplo. Pero no, vamos a seguir. El narrador recordará que fuiste un mentecato cuando hiciste el ascensor. Puede ser. No me acuerdo cuando jugué el primero y jugaste una banda.
Jumped to life. Their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building. Stanley's
Oh my gosh!
The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored
¿Quién soy yo?
where freedom meant nothing.
¿Cuál era mi número? 427. No me acuerdo. Pero allá había uno que no se puso número. Es un secreto. It's a secret.
This mind control
¿Ven?
facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been
Entonces está el jefe de Stanley, sí, boludo. Yo quiero vivir ahí, yo quiero estar acá.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone
Te pones acá y jugás 7000 juegos a la vez.
Never. It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
Se re emocionaba el narrador.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or sad or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Quiero ver qué pasa si cumplo sus caprichos de mierda. Porque todo lo que estuvimos viendo hasta ahora tenemos 7000 decisiones para tomar. Ahora voy a hacer lo que él me dice. Y ahí es como que si estuviese control mental técnicamente. Pero después la idea es hacer todo lo contrario. Y tengo que hacer destruir todo como el gato Lore. Estoy tocando todo, no sé. Acá había un botón de destrucción.
And when at last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for. Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do.
Perdón.
You need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex.
Oh, Dios mío.
How long until detonation then? Let's say say
¿Cuánto?
2 minutes. Now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it,
Off,
Stanley?
off, no
It's
puedo.
your time to shine. You are the star. It's your
Ayúdame.
story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I have. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going.
Cerra el orto, me quiero
I
ir.
don't know where to start. What's that? You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before your...
¿Por qué acá hay un 4? No entiendo nada.
I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better.
Ya valí. Ya valí verga.
Seconds left, but I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones. Or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Sold? Do you have any idea what your purpose is?
¡Ayuda! ¡Pero está loco! ¡Está loco!
You're in for quite a disappointment.
Todo porque...
Here's a
¡Pará!
spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge, it's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley.
Adiós, empleado 427.
Seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life.
¡Ayuda!
Until the moment I say, happily ever after.
Chabón, se puso re nervioso, ¿no? Porque puse on. Y ese fue otro final.
All of his co-workers were gone.
Era un buen
What
tipo,
could
pero
it mean?
explotó.
Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ayuda. Nuevo contenido, mira.
Oh, new content? What does that mean, new content?
No sé. Quizás signifique nuevo contenido. DLC.
Suscríbete a mi canal, que la mayoría de los que me miran no lo están, de solo un clic y nada más. No sabes cuánto a mí me ayuda con tu apoyo contar. Suscríbete que mis videos tu tristeza borrarán.